Hello, and welcome to the director's commentary for The Ark. I'm going to be all over the place with my talking points and whatnot, and just going to dive right into it, I guess. So, there were a lot of comments asking, sort of, is this based off a true story? Yes and no. I mean, like everything that happens is it's all fiction. Everyone here is fiction. I mean, there are true elements to it. The characters, how they interact, and so on and so forth. But it's mostly fiction, but with true elements to it, of course. Actually, the source of the story, though, it was never meant to be what it is. People interacting on the game. It was always it was something else. It was going to be an actual machinima. It was originally, it was like the summer of 2014. Me and the voice actor for Seth were watching a lot of anime, and I was kind of inspired by it. Like, I try to record scenes in such a way, certain shots, and how people, act in such a way that it kind of is, in my mind, anime-ish. But originally, the story was something else. It was about, like, these two people. It was going to be a rom-com, and, like, they had a teacher that really inspired them, and going to high school, and Joan's parents were ultra progressive and this and that, but it turned into what you see it is, which is just a little romance where two people find each other on a game and rekindle their friendship. But like that's just originally what the idea was. It was something silly, but it turned into something a little more serious. But I don't know how other directors make their machinima. I don't know their writing process. My writing process was like originally I have like it's like a 4 or 5 page outline. It's just these big paragraphs of what I want to happen, how things are going to happen, and then I wrote the entire script in like a day. Like, it was a 38-page script, and I really don't know how the hell I managed to make each of them almost like 20 minutes long, like an actual TV show kind of thing. I don't know how I did it. That's just how it happened. But I don't know. I got super inspired, and I just was able to knock it out. And I sent it over to my friend, and he would read out the script and point out all my flaws and whatnot. And that's how I do it with every script. Honestly, is every idea I have my friend just review it, and he nitpicks it, and he really liked this script. He thought it was great, and I gave him what I thought was the best role, and that was Seth. Because and this is a good segue into the next topic. Like, any great machinima, definitely one of the biggest factors is always going to be the voice acting. If your voice actors can't sell what you're trying to pitch, it's not going to be believable. And Ryan Woolsey, the voice actor for Seth, I gave him the script, and I let Seth has things to say, but he just added stuff. He just made it funnier, made it better. Like much of even his alternate part of Freddy's dad was just made up. And he was really good at. He really sold both roles, and that's what I was always looking for. in every voice actor. Like, I don't think I could have found a better or voice actor for Joan than Megan Salinas, or better Noah than Brad Felipe. Like, I mean, I've had this issue, if you want to call it an issue, where like I don't put a context, or I don't know what you'd call it, like uh, an accent to how people would say a line, like angry. Say this line angry. I'm listening more for a sound. Like I'll know who's a good actor when I can hear their sound, and I can work around it. And that's what I did. And like I even did that with the voice actress for Katie. Like she asked if she could give her role like a Valley Girl kind of impression, and I was like, yeah, go for it. And she just blew it out of the water. She really sold that, bitchy, shallow friend vibe, and it was amazing. Like, that's what I was looking for. Like, really every voice actor did an amazing job. Like, I mean, it's, with any great piece of cinema, like, it's the culmination of every single thing that makes up your film. Like, your voice acting, your music selection, your cinematography. Like, if one is off, like, it doesn't matter how good the others are, it's gonna completely fuck it up. And my cat's in the other room shredding shit, knocking shit over, that motherfucker. Anyway, I will say one of my issues when it came to writing, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is that cat doing? One of my issues when writing this film was I don't know how to write female characters. Honest to God. Not without making them sound like damsels or bitches, or I don't know how else to describe it. Like, I'm a guy. I can write guy characters because I kind of know how guys talk to each other, obviously. But when it came to writing female roles, I didn't know what I was doing. And I think I did decent with this. I mean, maybe I made it a little too, I don't know what the word is for it, weak. I'm not sure. I don't know. But that's just one of my weaknesses with writing. I'm not very good at writing female roles. But I think I got the point across. But yeah, this was all right. I mean, as anyone who's familiar with my channel, with my work, they'll know I'm not big on action sequences. Like, that whole thing where Katie were talking after they met for the first time. It's just me in Forge. I'm just driving around, just blowing up shit. It's all just eye candy. It's just so that, the viewer isn't just sitting there watching people in one stagnant view. Like, that's how I try to keep the voice or the viewer engaged. I'm always changing the shot. I'm always trying to do something, whether it's slight, like zoom and like angled turn. I'm trying to keep the viewer engaged visually while they're listening to the dialogue. And I'm a big promoter of just dialogue driven machinima. Like, I mean, part of my inspiration for this was Arby and the Chief, I've used some of John's music, and it's, you know, I believe how, it's just people interacting. It's, if you make it interesting enough, people will watch it. If Because, like, I mean, just look at this whole sequence. These are the top 8 players, and look at how I filmed them fight. They'd be jumping around. They'd be doing wild shit. They wouldn't just be getting. I'm not a big action guy. Like, I mean, I respect other directors who have the patience for that, but I can't do it. I can't choreograph it. I don't like dealing with it. Like, I mean, for this machinima, really, it's just years of slowly getting more and more equipment. Like, I had 2 Xboxes for this and 8 controllers, like 4 of which were the knockoff brand of Xbox controllers, and like, it's just those are just difficult to use because I want to have like a subtle head movement just to show, oh yeah, they're talking, or put an emphasis on a single word or something. But like, these controllers are so bad, I can't. It jerks too much. I have to put the sensitivity on the lowest for it to not jerk so hard. And I mean, that was one of the challenges. Like, my other Xbox controllers they just don't work anymore. All I got are the knockoff brand. And I mean, I could move to Xbox One, but it's just, I don't have a second Xbox to do the choreographing, and I don't have a total of 8 Xbox One controllers. I know the PC version is out, and that opens up some avenues, but my computer can't handle it, I think. I don't know. And I don't want to have to deal with choreographing with other people, because when I have done a session with 8 controllers on my own, it can go for an hour. Like, and it's just because I have to choreograph it all on my own, and I'm like, all these movements, I do like 4 or 5 takes each, and it's very time consuming. It's a lot, I mean, what is only a 20-minute episode is like really like 12 to 20 hours of choreographing, recording, editing, and getting with the voice actors and whatnot. And it's a labor of love. It is. I mean, any director would tell you, it might have been hard, but it is worth it in the end. It really is, after you see the finished product. Especially like with that little Xbox notification thing. I was so proud of that. That I was able to do that. Just making the notification. Like, I was having to figure out what font they use, and I had to I had a friend send me various different requests, so I had each little different icon that flashed over the Xbox logo. Like, it's fun stuff. It's cool stuff like that I enjoy doing. It's just the little things. But no, there's a lot of. It's very time consuming. I mean, like, with just the main characters, I would get on Skype, Discord, whatever, and I would direct them through the lines. It's just because that's how I am. I'm a perfectionist, and really, I do have a good time doing it. Like, I have conversations with the actors, actresses while they're doing it, and it's really fun. But when you do that with a lot of different characters, a lot of different voice actors, it's very time consuming. And I mean, I can't tell you how long this took me to make. Like, it's in the ether of my memory from 2018, so I don't remember. But No, it was really fun. Uh, I will say, I guess I had more intended for the arc, for sure, but like I couldn't I couldn't put it all into words that made sense. You know what I mean? Like, this is the best product that I could get out of my brain and make it work. Because originally I had names for each of the acts. Like, the first act was going to be called Noah's Ark. This is the reason why they're named the way they are. Like, it was a play on words. And I'll get into why the arc is called the arc, but like originally the first act was going to be called Noah's Ark. It was going to be all about Noah. The second act was going to be called Joan of Arc. It was going to be all about Joan, her backstory. And you kind of do see that, like in this first act, it's about Noah. You know, you get to know about him, like, oh, he's depressed, his girlfriend left him, now he's the best game or best player in all of Halo Reach, you know, first world problems, right? But like, and then the second act, you know, you hear a little bit about Joan's backstory and how she doesn't like dating guys because of whatever fucking reason I gave them. But like, I intended for more because like it's sort of inspired based off of anime and how they structure their episodes. You know, first few episodes is an arc about this character, then you have another arc about this character. That's also partly the reason it is called the arc. It was going to be about character arcs, and then that's just kind of also where the name for it came from, with also the characters' names being a play on words. But really, it was going to be based off of the final act, which I was going to call the Ark of the Covenant, which I kind of like. Covenant is like a synonym loosely like for a promise. So like it was going to be their promise, hey, we like each other and let's be a couple, kind of, whatever. I mean, I don't know. Like, it was, I mean, looking back on it, I kind of cringe at the thought. Like, I mean, rewatching this, I already kind of cringe, but that's just how it is, you know. I mean, I see my own flaws, and any director will tell you that. They'll see their own thing, and they'll be like, oh, God, I fucked that up. Or, oh, why did I have him say that? But that's just, I mean, that's just everybody, you know. No one is a bigger critic than the guy who wrote it, than the guy who labored days over it. I am my own biggest critic. Everyone, like every director is their worst enemy. That's just how it is. But like, I don't know. It turned out really good, and I was really proud of it. Like, I'm really proud of this last exchange they have, where it's this reveal. Oh, you're that girl that lived across the street, which is based off an actual person, by the way. I had a friend I had a crush on that lived across the street from me when I was like 5, but like, I mean. And there was never any violence like the backstory he talks about, but that's just, you know, that's just how it is. I needed something to kind of connect the dots there, and I went with the extreme. And I really like this shot right here where it pans up to the sun. Like, I really like that. But and I like the music selection too, which I am surprised I have not gotten the boot from YouTube for that. But I was very careful on how much copyrighted material I used and where I put it. So, yeah, but blah, 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 blah. I guess like the characters, as I mentioned. So, the girl across the street is loosely based, is who Joan is based off of. There's actually another girl. They lived next to each other. It was wild. But it's kind of how it was. It's just kind of like, thinking of your childhood. This is kind of what it is for me. It's my childhood, just reminiscing, simpler times. Like, I didn't intend for this whole film to feel nostalgic, but I mean, that's just sort of what happened. Um, but, that's just how it was. Like, I poured my fucking heart and soul into the, like, that's why I was able to get the script done in a day, because it came from a true place. And it just, if it hadn't been for the people in my life when they were there at that time, this would not exist. And that's just, who Joan is based off of. It's just those girls early in my life. I mean, it never went anywhere, but it was more of a really good friendship to me. Like, that's just how it was. And yeah, and Noah's based sort of off myself, minus all the depression. Like, I don't get depressed over high school relationships. Like, I mean, I don't know. That's just me. And like, this is really just me in high school. This is how I viewed myself in high school, and it's just, I don't know, kind of taking a swing at myself, but also, I guess, just all the cringy parts of me combined into it too. I don't know. Katie is of course, every girl that would is out of your league or is just a complete bitch. Uh, and that's I mean, that's the short of it. Really, that's all she really is. Seth is just my friend, Ryan. I gave him what I believed was the best role, and he also did Freddy's dad, which he knocked it out of the park. I don't think anyone else could have sold Freddy's dad like Ryan did, and I mean, he did a great job. Like, most of both of his parts was just him just winging it. Like, I would give, like, he had lines, obviously. They both had lines, but he just added extra stuff to make it funnier. And like, the last line where he's like, "That's it, Freddy, go get my gun." Like, I didn't put that in there. That was just out of nowhere. Because, I mean, we all know those online squeakers, and God help us if their fucking mom or dad heard them cursing, and you'd hear the whole argument through their headset because they don't know how to turn off their fucking mic. But nah, he slayed it, and I don't think it would have been the same without him doing what he was doing. Now, Damon is just based off of, just your run-of-the-mill guy he's there to use you. He's just, that's it. Like, he sees potential in you, but he would sell you down the river. Xavier is actually based off of my older brother. He's just, the big brother type. He's there to watch out for you, and he's got, he's morally upstanding, because, like, at the end, he reports Katie and Damien for their crimes. Like, and, he knew Damon before. I didn't really establish a character arc for him, but, which I wish I could have. Like, this isn't my first big project, but this is, like, my first real, project that hits close to home for me. So it's more my perspective than it is other people's. So like if I could have expanded on it, it would have been like Xavier and Damon were just super competitive players, but they were friends. But he eventually did the right thing and reported him to the police because what they did was illegal, and because I guess he values the friendship of Noah and Joan more than that of Damon, who did something just absolutely atrocious. So, and then Derek, Owen, and Roman, they're just there for exposition. They're just extras. I did like their voice actors though. They were excellent. Um, and Freddy is voiced by a female, if that isn't obvious. But it was by Canon on Casting Call, and she's got a really good anime-ish type voice, and that's sort of what I was looking for this character. And no line was too morbid for her to say, which was great. I've dealt with actors in the past who wouldn't say fuck or who wouldn't say oh my god. God bless them. I mean, stand by your morals, but I mean, if you want to be in this industry, you want to get into voice acting or just acting in general, you have to be a little flexible. But no, I'm glad I chose the people I did. Like, they did a fantastic job. Absolutely fantastic. Man, I'm not a big fan of this whole interaction here. Like, I have a lot of stupid shit going on in the background just because it's, I don't want the viewer to be disengaged from just all the talking, It gives them something to see, keeps them watching while also listening to the exposition, listening to the story going on, and so on. It's important, especially in dialogue-driven machinima like this. It's extremely, extremely important to keep the viewer engaged, and I'm surprised it got the amount of attention it did. Like 40-something thousand views in the first act and whatnot. Like, I never in my dreams did I think I would make something that actually would be viewed. That's a lot of views for me. Like, I know there are other people in the machinima community, they got that in like they were easily getting that in the glory days, that and more in the glory days of machinima. But like, it has now become such a niche thing that like anyone who puts out any halfway decent content really is seen, and they're like, holy shit. Like, it's almost to a point where like if you're making a machinima and you don't know who the other big guys are, it's kind of weird. Like, just because there's not that there's so few people, it's just that so few of the good people are still making good machinima, Like, I never at one point thought I would have ever talked to Digital Virus, just as an example. But like, I have had a few conversations with him, and he's a pretty good guy. I like his work. But that's just what I'm saying. What I'm trying to get at is like, this is such a unique genre of cinema that when you dig into it, you're gonna start seeing all the people who are actively making it, and they do engage with their audience. They talk to them in the comments, and you can join their Discord and have conversations with them. I remember the forum days whenever Machina Nation was around, or even DamonPro.net. And that was a great place to post your stuff, just because it would also be archived. Not to say you can't do that in Discord. I don't know. I'm just not very big into engaging with people in the comment. I don't know. It's just a personal preference for me. I like I speak with the mods sometimes, especially people if I'm working with them on a project, like they're a voice actor or whatever. But eh, it's just me. I'm kind of distance myself from them because they're more proactive with their work, with what they're doing. They're getting more, they're getting a lot of feedback, which is good. Don't get me wrong. It's very good to have feedback, but like me personally, I kind of like uh, keeping my stuff as a surprise. I guess I don't know. I try to show it as like my scripts or my what I have, what I'm working on. I try to show that as few people as possible, just because I don't know. It's personal preference, I guess, which is kind of nice because then something like this will blow up and hey, look at that! Who saw that coming? I don't know. That's just my opinion, I guess. But I don't know. I had a good time making this. It was a real labor of love, though. It's just you know just took days and days, hours and hours, and my God, it's well worth it though. Well worth it, and I love the the outcome. I love all the positive feedback. I think this is one of the most solid pieces of work I've ever made. Uh, and I love adding all the little things too. The little things what makes it cool, like Freddy freaking out because no one hearing him talk, and little snide remarks. Like that's the fun thing I enjoyed, and because I remember those days. You being like in a clan battle or whatever, and you got your clan leaders talking, and you're just in the background, like just fucking around, doing whatever. Uh, but if you've watched my stuff, I'm not a big action guy because, just look at this whole interaction. I have Katie playing like a complete retard. I don't know what I'm doing. Whatever. I don't like action sequences. I really don't. This is why I focus mainly on my dialogue. I want my dialogue and my storytelling to be 100% solid to make up for the fact that I don't like choreographing action sequences. And if I do, it has to be important. If you've watched any of my cone shit, it's all just a bunch of guys just standing, shooting at an empty wall or something, and then they get killed. Action is sort of just a segue for what's the word? The conflict. Like, where here she's playing so bad, and then everyone is fucking ripping on Katie for being a shit player. And then, Damon comes to the rescue. Like, don't do that, guys. And he's her white knight. And it's just cringe. Really, a lot of this was cringe to me. Because, like I said, I don't know how to write female characters. And then there's just a lot of the interactions are just so stupid. Oh, my God. It's my best work by far, though. But, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. It's just, it is what it is, man. This This was fun to write. Really, it was fun. It was fun editing too, because you have all these just files by themselves. Like if you think about it, you have just one guy just talking. It's like me right now. I'm talking. I'm in an empty room. I don't know who's watching this. I have no clue. I don't know who's listening to me. I don't even know if anyone's still watching. But like, you just have all these files of just people just talking in a room by themselves, and then you combine it all, and it's voila, it's magic. It all comes together, and it sounds and looks amazing, and it's yeah, I really enjoy that. I love it because everything comes together, and it's just it's my Mona Lisa. It's my masterpiece in action, and it's especially like if because I've been making Machinima since like 2008. I wasn't very good for like the first 3 or 4 years, but like when I started getting kind of decent at it, and it's it was still sort of in the glory days. Like I couldn't make anything good enough. I felt like maybe I didn't have the right resources at the time, and I wasn't able to really enjoy the golden age myself. Viewer wise, like this channel is like over 10 years old, and I'm just now past 2,000 subscribers. Like that's a big deal to me. Like I've seen people, make the same sort of generic Halo War Machinima elites are attacking the UNSC. Blah. They get all the views, all the subscribers. It's just I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be that guy that recycles the same type of story. I mean, I'm kind of doing it with like the Dictator or whatever, but that's my own original thing I made. I'm not using a pre-made canon of something and adding it to myself. Not saying that there's nothing wrong with that if you do it right. Like we all know some 12-year-old kid that when they first got their Pinnacle capture card and they started making some generic war thing, and it's just like the market became saturated with all these people with a capture card who think they know what they're doing. I mean, I don't like to belittle new directors and whatnot, but there was a time when a lot of the content was the same sort of thing, like, and I was that same person too. I'm not innocent. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I also was that person. I think it's just a phase we all go through, and then you finally start making the really cool, really interesting machinima. Like I love what I've seen with a lot of people who use Halo 5. I don't like using Halo 5 as a engine. Part of it is because there's no split screen and I can't do the choreography. But holy shit, the people who are able to, deal with choreographing with other people and whatnot, and they make some really kick-ass shit. Like, I have to give it to them. That, like, I don't have the patience for it. Like, but whenever you see someone that does it done really well, like, you have to give them credit. Just because it's like some of the stuff like Seraph, like, oh my god, he knew what he was doing. Like, holy shit. But I don't know. I stuck with Reach just because I don't know, it feels more familiar to me. And I even dipped into Halo 3 for making Coup, but like You know, Reach is about the right balance for me, and it's also more to me aesthetically pleasing. It's just because I also don't really like the way the Spartans in the other games look. Like Halo 4, they're kind of okay, and then Halo 5, it's kind of strange. It's just it doesn't set well with me. Um, but that's just with some of the armor. But like it has some of the best machinima tools out of any game. Green screen, just huge maps, all the options you can do. I wish Reach had that and for all that Forge options. I would I would abuse it. But like even like blue screening on Reach is just kind of ridiculous. Like I love that there was someone that figured it out, but it's just the extra steps you got to take. Like because the blue screen on Reach using Sony Vegas doesn't do it justice. You got to have Adobe. You got to have Adobe to do it right. And I don't know. I'm just rambling right now. I mean, I should be talking about just the arc, but I got on other topics. Like, there are some scenes though in the arc that like this whole exchange is so fucking cringy. Oh, it's just a high school teenager drama. I had to get it out of my system though. It was something I had to do, and that now everyone else has to watch. But clearly it is entertaining because people are watching it. But it really is just the culmination of all the elements put together. Cinematography, music, voice acting. One thing's off, it could fuck up all the others. But no, it was fun. It was fun. I just wish I wish I could have expanded more on it. I really do. I wish I could have done more, but the problem is, like I said, it is a time consuming medium. It's a very time consuming trying to doing all of this, especially when you're choreographing it all on your own. You got to make time to record it all, and like it gets very complicated when you have 8 controllers all at once, and like a lot of the scenes are cut up. Like they're just different games. Like when it came to this, like this interaction between Noah and such, and then when they're all down on the lower level talking, like that's two separate games, because otherwise I would be recording through like 3 or 4 hours of one game, and I'm not gonna do that. But I always make do multiple takes of every scene, just because like how their head moves and whatnot to emphasize a word or whatever is very, very important to me. Just because, like, I mean, that's not how it really works in a video game, but like, it's important visually just to keep the viewer engaged and in knowing who's talking, and to sort of show that there is emotion in what they're talking about. Like that's very important. But like right here, like this whole exchange, like every subtle little head movement is important. We can finally see each other. Like it's important. Every frame, when you do it right, it makes a big impact. And especially the opening to Act 3. Like everything for this act, the opening had to be on par, just because I wanted to convey a certain emotion. And like without having doing all the subtle little things, it would just look bland. It would look boring. And thinking about the scene, like my friend Ryan, who was doing Seth, he was eating like I don't fucking remember what he was eating. He was eating like tacos or tortillas or some shit, and I couldn't help but put in the mom spaghetti reference. Like at the time I was always making that little joke. My palms are sweaty. Mom spaghetti. And I don't know, it was silly. It was fun. The script reading was probably the one thing I missed the most. It's just script reading, reading the script with these people, being silly, having fun, I don't know. Like, most of Act 3 was just talking. Just people standing around discussing things. And, this is my second take doing this fucking commentary. And I think I already talked about it, like how I don't know how to write female characters. Like, this is a classic example. This scene right here, I don't know, without it sounding just so pathetic. I don't even know if that's the word, without it sounding like a man writing a teenage female's part. Like, that's sort of what it's like, and it's just I skip it every time I come up to this, like, because I do rewatch this every now and then. I'm always like, when I'm stuck for inspiration or I'm writing something, like I go back to one of my works just to see. I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? What was I? What caused me to write this? What direction was I going with it? But like, I don't know. I sort of kind of got a style going on, I think, of cinematography. Very, very bland. Very, not everything's moving. There's not a lot of camera movement going around. But that's partially just because of how long it takes to do each scene, how much talking each character does. Like, and because I want to get every subtle movement, I'm not going to try and fucking time it with a camera moving in 3D space. Like, I don't know how other directors do it, but before I start recording, I get, like, the footage, I should say. Before I start recording the footage, I get all the voice files together. I put it all together. I get all the audio put together where I want it, in the timeline on Sony Vegas, so it flows naturally. And then I go into the game, and I start, I'll press play on the timeline, and I'll move the character's head as they talk with the slight little things on whatever words I want them to emphasize. And then I go back in theater. I get up to that point, and I press play, and I listen to the audio as the video is playing on my screen as I record it. And that's just so that I see what I'm doing, and so that I know where I'm at, where I'm recording each person, because I don't want to have to go through 2-3 hours of footage and I'm just recording one guy just standing there doing nothing, when in actuality the other characters are the ones moving their heads and moving around and shit. That's how I record these machinimas. That's just how I do it. And I think that's partially why, if in my other works, there's just a lot of static camera movements, just something in one position. I will say that is something I am sort of having a problem with right now due to my controllers. I have the shitty knockoff brand of Xbox controllers that aren't from Microsoft, but they are compatible for the 360. And like, I used to have 8 functioning controllers. Like, my wireless controllers for whatever reason are fucked. The wired knockoff brands are just they're too I don't know what the word is. They jerk too much whenever you're in a when you use them to play. Like I was using one to play Wildlands on the PC, but when it came to like sniping, I would have to switch to my mouse. Whereas when I was using a better controller, I didn't have that problem. But I don't know. It's becoming very difficult just with the hardware I have accessible to me. Oh, I remember this scene. I did the voice of Noah's dad, and I regret that. Like, I think everyone understands what's going on here. This is probably one of the worst scenes I couldn't get right. It's just like Noah's mom. I actually had to pay this voice actress to do the lines just because I couldn't find the sound I was looking for, and hers was like the closest to it, and she pulled it off. But it's just I couldn't find a voice actor to pull off Noah's dad. And it's also one of those situations where it's like, I don't know how I would react if I came upon a loved one that's just laying on the ground unconscious. I don't know. Like I don't know if I would freak out like, but like I just kind of winged it because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And yeah. So originally, I will say, this whole exchange here, whenever it cuts to black at the end of this, whenever they say it was Noah who got hurt, originally that was going to be the end of Act 3. But because I was setting with a trend where the other 2 acts were about 20 minutes long, I combined the 2 acts where afterwards it started off with them confronting Katie and Damien about their involvement with harming Noah. Now, this was like a really extreme measure I went to. I'm trying to bring the story to a close. I don't know how to do that. So I'm just like, okay, we got to get rid of Damon and Katie. Like, that is the end goal here. They are our antagonists. The antagonists have to get what's coming to them. How do we do that? I could have done some sort of like Bungie stepping in, giving them a console ban or whatever, but I'm like, I don't know. Let's make a real world thing happen because, our 2 protagonists and our 2 antagonists know each other in real life. So let's have something happen off screen. Now this was, I was always interested in kind of trying to do what John did, which was a combination of live action and machinima, but like I don't have the right equipment, and if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right, and I also wasn't interested in paying people if I could avoid it. Like, if I had to pay every voice actor and actress, if I could afford it, I would do it. I just can't, and that's just how it is, though. Like, every director would love to do that. That's because that's what the pros do. But like, it's not feasible for every single project. Especially when you have as many characters as you do in a film. It's just it's difficult. you know. And also, given it's a nonprofit project. I mean, I'm not making money off of it. I don't intend to. This is a hobby. I just, try to make the best work I possibly can. And oh boy, it's a good thing I have this muted, because I do not like this whole in exchange. The whole thing that happens here. Like Katie and Joan talking. Like, that was necessary. They had to do it. But I cringe. I cringe at it. I cringe really hard at this whole scene. I just do. I can't help it. It's like, I don't know. It's like reliving a terrible memory. Like, you lay in bed at night and you can't go to sleep because you're like, oh my God, what did I do in 6th grade? That's just how it is, though. But it's like I was rewatching Malcolm in the Middle on Hulu, and Malcolm or Reese or whatever, they're always doing something stupid or whatever, and I'm like, I put a pillow over my head because I guess I'm just immature and I can't handle it. I don't know, but it's necessary character progression. It really is. I'm not going to avoid writing the cringy shit, but because it's necessary for their progression, but doesn't mean I'm going to watch it. I don't know. I'm not the best writer in the world. I know that. There are far more talented people on YouTube in the Machinima community, and as a whole, not just writing, but in cinematography, directing, all that. There is a alarm going off. We're just gonna ignore that for a second. But no, what was it? I submitted this to Matt Wong's Machinima contest, and he had some very valid criticisms. And I love hearing criticism. I want to hear I need to know what I'm doing wrong. And he made some very good points, and I know to look out for that in the future. I think he said I broke the rule of thirds a few times. There's something, but that's it's something that's important to for growth. I've seen directors in the past vehemently defend their machinima to the death. There is no fucking thing that they could do wrong. If you make any type of media, you are an artist, right? You are, granted, you're not like Picasso on a canvas, but you are an artist. You have to learn how to take criticism. You need to hear the criticism. It's for growth. If someone called my film a pile of dog shit, I would ask them why. All right? If they can't give a reason, if they say they just don't like it, that's not really criticism. That just means this isn't your cup of tea. I'm not a big fan of Grey's Anatomy. I just don't like watching doctor shows. That's just me. That's a preference. It doesn't mean it's a bad show. You know what I mean? But they're just I don't know, just I guess immature directors. I'm pretty sure they've gotten over it, because the last time I've seen that was 2010 or some shit. But there are too many people out there who think they can do no wrong. And, part of personal growth is knowing you're not perfect. Part of that growth is knowing there are things you can improve on. And if you just shut that out and you're in your own echo chamber, you're never going to change. You're never going to improve. And, I come back to this scene every now and then, as much as I cringe, but I need to hear it so I know what I need to fix in the future. What I can avoid. Or how to make it sound better. I forgot who said it, but it's you can't blame a voice actor for if something sounds funky if you wrote a line that is just funky in general. Like, if you're going to write something, you need to say it out loud as a writer. If you verbalize it and it sounds bad, you need to fix it. Yeah, so, don't know where I was going to go with that, but, I kind of like the ending of this scene where Xavier comes out and he's, he confronts Damon and Katie about it, and, Katie's like, well, guess what? Well, Xavier's like, well, fuck you, I recorded you, and you're guilty. I think that's something a lot of people need to incorporate a little bit more, or maybe I'm just not noticing it. I could be wrong, but foreshadowing is an important element. Like I put in the previous act as they're playing against a clan that Xavier would be recording. I needed a prerequisite for him as a valid reason for him recording with his pinnacle, which would just be saying that he's recording, he's gaming, so that this scene would make sense. If he just comes out of nowhere saying, well, guess what? I've been recording it. It's just like, people, I mean, I don't think people would have challenged it. They would have been like, yeah, he got her. But like, to me as a writer, it had to make sense. To me as a writer, he had to have a reason to be recording. Like, I don't know how, or if this is how everybody does it, but like, since my computer, TV, and Xbox are all like on the same table, my whole setup, like, I always keep my HD PVR connected to my Xbox, which is then connected to the TV. Like, so at a moment's notice, I could just start recording. I don't know if that's how everybody else does it. I know how that's how a few friends of mine do it. They just keep their shit hooked up because it's simpler. But that's how I've always had it. And now we're getting close to the end. Now, this scene coming up where they're on the beach. The happy music is playing. I use a lot of music from Lucky Star. It was a really good anime that had really good music. I love their music. And I wanted to incorporate it somehow. And I finally had my chance to do that in this Machinima. And then I got to use a song I was like really, really into. Like, I used to make music videos, and I don't want to deal with getting a strike or anything, so I stopped. But like, I found a cover version of a song called "The Promise," which, if you've never heard of it, if you've watched Napoleon Dynamite to the end, it's the song they're playing as he and Deb, I think, are playing tetherball. And I love the song. It's a love song, and I insinuate here at the end, with her asking him out, that something's gonna happen because, she's moving in across the street again. What a stroke of luck! That would never happen. Like, Like, who the fuck gets their original house back? Like, what happened to the tenants that were in it before? Or the homeowners before? Like, I never explained that. I mean, that's also another mistake I made. I didn't explain. That's a plot hole. It really is. But no one really questioned it. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm my biggest uh, critic, and there was no reason that they should have. Her family should have got their fucking house back. That makes no sense. How would they? How would that have worked? But I don't know. Like, I wanted it to be a really good, happy ending. Really just heart wrenching and fucking hit you in the feels, and I think I accomplished that. I think I did, because like I don't know, people. There were so many positive reviews about it, which I'm happy about, because like this is what it was. I was building up to, was this moment right here. I loved the ending. When I started making Act 3, I filmed the ending first. Like the last like Game of Slayer they all play together. That's what I did, because that was my favorite part. I love this transition here to then the title card of the arc. Like, it felt good. That was my favorite part to do. And I really enjoyed it. It was really fun to make this. It was a labor of love. And I was pissed off like half the time, because like something would go wrong, or like I'd fuck up in like a recording session, and I would oh man, like I had a plan to like release it on certain days, and that never happened. But like, yeah, it's like I like the end result. I like, I'm gonna take my time to do the right thing to make it look good. You can't rush art. You really can't. So that's where that is. But I guess that brings us to what's next. A lot of people have asked to you know expand on the arc, and that's not impossible. Uh, like, some people have put their own fan theories or whatever in of what they would like to see, and their own ideas, and some of them are pretty good. They're not bad, but it's just because this piece of work came from a place of truth. I want to kind of keep it consistent, and I haven't gotten to that place yet. I guess you could say mentally or whatever. I don't know. It's just I wouldn't know how to make it sound right, look right, story wise, like, because this is a rom-com ish type thing, and I don't write rom-coms often, or almost at all. Like, most of my machinimas are just about, lately, like, power hungry politicians, or fucking corruption. Like, I'm a very political guy, so I don't know how to fucking switch over to a different genre of writing without it either containing elements of what I'm used to writing, or without it coming from a place of truth. And like, it's not to say that I couldn't do something with where I am in my life now. You know, I'm engaged or whatever, but it's just what do I talk about? Make a story about just everyday living? I mean, you know, like, I mean, you know, people have, like I said, good. There have been some pretty good suggestions on what could happen. You know, and you know, I think part of making a really good story is just leaving the rest to imagination, letting the viewer kind of think of the possibilities. You know, that's why I didn't explicitly have the characters say I love you or whatever. Like, I want that, you got to leave that to the viewer. Let them kind of decide where that's going to go, what's going to happen. You know, it's a little more exciting, I think, just because, you know, nothing's set in stone, anything could happen. Now, I will say I do have quite a lot of scripts wrote for other projects. Like, I'm still making Machinima. I'm still doing, you know, I had like really bad writer's block for a long time, but I kind of got over that, started writing different things, and especially what's going on in the world right now with coronavirus, riots, you know, things just going on in the political world. You know, it's a lot. There's a lot to draw from for what I'm used to writing about, and I'm not, you know, completely without inspiration, but you know, I'm going to go back to what I'm more comfortable writing, which is about, you know, corruption and fucking politicians who want to fucking abuse their power and whatnot. But I guess I will take this time to say, you know, due to the setbacks I've been having with all of my Xbox, my controllers, and all that shit, it's becoming more difficult just due to the hardware fucking up on me, because I'm still using 360s, and it's getting to the point where I don't enjoy it. Like, if my shit's breaking and I want to make a film, I'm going to get mad because it's going to take me 3 times as long. I mean, you know, just that, and the fact that, I don't know, this is sort of becoming less and less fun over the years. Like, I'm putting out less content, and it's not because, like I said, not because I'm not inspired, but it's just, it becomes a chore at some point, you know? It just, you're going through the emotions and like fucking just like, oh, like because like if you see me put out some little 2-3 minute thing, that's just, I had a day free to work on something and I had an idea to get out of my head, you know? And I don't know. I do enjoy Machinima. I do like it. I have a good time. I love watching other people's stuff. I love making really cool sequences and people, you know, with engaging dialogue and whatnot. But it's time consuming, you know. And you know, the older you get, the more you have going on. And it's just, you know, you have different priorities. So I'm not quitting. It's not what I'm saying. But if you see less content from me, it's just because life and shit breaking on me. And I mean, I haven't done much research or shopping around rather for new controllers, but like I've tried going to local places and they don't have it, or Microsoft isn't making them anymore or something, and it's just it's becoming a hassle. If I'm able to get my hands on 8 Xbox One controllers or something, because I don't want to coordinate on Halo or on PC, on the PC version. I really don't. It's I did that in the Halo 2 days. I would get a lobby full of people and they would fuck around, they'd blow shit up, they'd kill each other, and it's tiresome. You know, it's tiresome having to deal with people being immature, people fucking things up. It's, I don't know, like, I'm a perfectionist, so I want to do everything my way. And it saves me time and it's quicker. But I don't know, just, leave your thoughts about whatever in the comments, what you'd like to see, what you'd like to know. I'm curious. And, I engage with everyone. I try to read everyone's comments. I try to reply if there's a question or whatever. But, I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to discussion. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to my ramblings. I hope it was a little insightful or whatever about the arc. I do have projects up and coming that I'm working on. I have a continuation of The Dictator on the way, which would bridge into a different sort of cinematic universe. I'm trying to start up just with my own